Welcome to the Marvelous Post-Blip Podcast, a podcast on all things Marvel on the Fangirl Zone. I'm Mischievous Dave.
I'm Sean, Fangirl S.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Steve. Today we're talking about episode 1 of season 1 of What If, titled What If Captain Carter Was the First Avenger, written by A.C. Bradley and directed by Brian Andrews.
They're all going to do that, right? Everything's going to be this episode 2.
Yes.
What if? What if? And then whatever they're doing next.
Yep.
It's like, what if Steve was the first Iron Man?
Hey, we have a really cool what if coming, though, that I'm super excited about.
All right, good. So, initial reactions. Let's start with Sean.
I liked it. It was weird with the animation. Not that I wasn't expecting animation. It's just the type of animation. It reminded me of something out of Love and Robots, which was it Love, Sex, and Robots, which that was a really weird show, by the way. But I liked it. I liked how they kept a lot of stuff the same with just a little bit of changes. But at the same time, I was like, why does Peggy look like she's just going to be like, Peggy smash?
Yeah.
Because I really liked Agent Carter. Steve and I had recorded on that, and that was a really good show, in my opinion. And I loved, though, how they did still ignore her no matter what.
Brutal.
Reality.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the 40s,
What do you got?
it sure was.
Yeah. Yeah, I worried about that. Go ahead, Steve. What do you got?
I enjoyed it, that's for sure. It's always great to have Haley Atwell back on the screen, even if it is animated.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the differences. I definitely was not expecting to see the Stark's first Iron Man suit and Steve being inside it, but that was really cool, I thought.
Yeah. That changes a lot right then and there.
Yes.
Yes.
Any initial reactions for us, Jazz?
Oh, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought Peggy kicked ass and kicked names, and I thought it was cool that they had all the same actors from the Marvel movies were actually in the What If, except Steve, and I guess in the future they won't have Loki. But Haley Atwell was there, and all. I think they even have some Chadwick Boseman for a little bit in the future. So I thought that was all very awesome. So it keeps you in the feel of it all.
Yeah, I was shocked at all the talent they got to come back for this. Jeremy Renner, Stanley Tucci, Dominic Cooper, Bradley Whitford, Neil McDonough is back. Sebastian Stan, are you kidding me? Even Toby Jones.
Full Monty.
Don't they have anything else to do?
I guess not. Maybe it's part of the contract. You will do everything for Disney. We own you now.
Oh, well, you got to think about it. I mean, this was done how long ago? So everybody was in lockdown. They were able to do it. It was cool.
Yeah, probably happy to have stuff to do.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yep.
So is that everybody's initial reactions then?
No.
Oh, okay.
I
I was like, right, you didn't jump in too much.
Yeah. If we were rating this, which we're not, I would give it 4 out of 5 Red Skull face peels.
Ew.
And I was really impressed. I think I told Steve right away or gave him a text or something like, that was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, and the fight sequences were, animation, that was really good. Maybe
I like the animation. I thought it was top notch.
Yeah, top notch for sure.
And I like the style.
Yeah, what do they call it's the Asian style of animation.
Not quite anime.
No, I'm glad it wasn't, because that can be a little over the top, and a lot of animation borrows from that these days, because that's what kids like. But
Depends on the kid.
So I'm glad they actually stuck true to form to what we're used to, comic book style. Let's call it that.
Right.
I like comic books. I just went yesterday for free comic book day.
Yeah.
Oh, I was mad I didn't know about it. That's okay. I probably couldn't have done a whole lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd get a brief recap for us.
Our super brief recap. When Steve Rogers is seriously injured, Peggy Carter becomes the world's first super soldier. Okay, I have a quick question. Since Peggy, we all know, if you're listening, you know at this point, Peggy is the super soldier in this What If.
Yes.
Does that mean that if Peggy were to have a child, she would pass on the super soldier gifts?
Serum? I would think so.
That would be a neat concept.
Does that mean there's a baby Captain America out there somewhere in a different timeline?
I'm kind of thinking, maybe.
What was the name of the last Avengers?
Didn't Cap say that he had grandkids later on when he came back?
Wow, that's a lot of superheroes running around.
Just wondering. Just to throw that out there, see what everyone thought.
That'll be my next pitch for Hollywood. Boy, do I have a series for you.
Yes.
Well, that's one way to keep on the train moving. You don't have to worry about people getting older. You just transfer it to your kids.
I know.
Well, maybe that's
Young
what Boss
Avengers.
Baby's all about, actually. You never know. I've
Mhm.
never watched it. There's little ninja Boss Babies. So, maybe that's really another universe of this.
Yeah.
Could be the Muppet Babies, but with Marvel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you're off the podcast. Go away. Easy,
I didn't say I
easy.
was necessarily a fan of Muppet Babies. I just said it was there.
Yeah.
I like the original.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. Now, I thought it was curious the way it opened because the first 30 seconds or so is the normal Marvel opening. And I was kind of going, well, why aren't we getting something different? Because we got something different with Loki, that's for sure.
Yeah, they should have faded into a different color, or I don't know, different heroes. Maybe they will.
Yeah, it's very possible. But we get Jeffrey Wright's The Watcher little monologue there.
Yeah.
And the shattered prism that kind of previews the coming season with Bruce Banner's transformation and Loki at the UN and T'Challa being taken and Killmonger joining
It
up
was
with Stark.
weird.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, all those
Yeah.
different differences starting. And it was just super quick.
Yeah, it was hard to
I'm
catch
sure
everything.
somebody out there seriously dived into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots of rabbit holes, as you say.
Yes.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh.
And we're in the lab where Steve's about to take the serum, but we see that Peggy decides to stay in the room instead of going up into the observation area.
Despite instructions to do so.
Yes.
Sure.
And we see that apparently Hydra has infiltrated the lab and sets off an explosion. Steve tries to stop the guy, but gets shot. So that leaves one person, even though the Colonel does not want that one person in there.
And I kept saying, is anybody going to put out the fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just raging all around. Okay, that's fine.
Well, they always pick Bradley Whitford to be such a dick. So,
He
Maybe he
Colonel's
does it
a
really
dick.
well. I'm sure the fire is fine and all the mechanics work well with fire. No biggie.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
I noticed that we get this Colonel Phillips instead of Tommy Lee Jones's character. And I kind of scratched my head and I said, haven't we seen him before? Sure enough, was the one on the Peggy Carter one shot.
Oh, yeah.
So still canon there. Didn't add
Yeah.
anybody new.
Everyone's available.
Yep.
Amazing.
So Peggy jumps in the contraption, starts science things up, and we have our new captain here.
Yeah.
Flynn
That's
just blows up. I love the way he just said everything was destroyed, millions of dollars lost.
Yeah. I know.
Where's
the
my
jerk.
army? Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, did anybody else want her to punch him in the mouth?
I know.
Oh, absolutely.
Very much. Knock him in the next week.
Yeah. So it was a pretty interesting opening and some differences between the way the story played out. So, Dave, do you have any of
Well,
those?
Well, gosh. You know what? I'll tell you the first thing that worried the heck out of me. I don't know. Maybe because I'm old school. I was like, how are they going to portray Peggy from the movies? You know how Chris Evans bulked up. The whole world was talking about how he bulked up.
Oh, she
even came
bulked
up with
too.
Yeah. And I said, well, how are they going to treat the character? Is she going to be like Juno-esque, or is going to be like a curvy Wonder Woman?
Right.
You know, and she was just a big girl.
Yeah.
And I was glad for the muscular look, because I was afraid, like, oh, please don't give her a sexy rear end or something like that. Not that I'm against it, but
The Hawkeye initiative. She just turned and pop her butt out all the time.
yeah, I know. I'm just glad they didn't go there, but I'm actually happy for her. I'm glad she's not super sexy. She's just super strong, and hey, she looks good in uniform too, Captain Britain. The big difference, of course, to me, the shocker was seeing Steve appear as apparently the original Iron Man. I mean, why not? They didn't call him Iron Man, but come on, Howard Stark, iron suit, does everything, flies around.
I really loved how the whole thing was. And I had a very, was it My Iron Giant vibe, though?
Yeah. They portray Steve as meek and sweet, but put him in a suit, he's all business.
Yep. And I love the scene where she jumps on his back and he goes up into the air and she's flying around taking out pilots and airplanes. That was awesome.
Yeah. Stargirl and Stripesy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't even think about that. Now that you said it, will forever be etched in my brain.
I was a little surprised they brought Howard Stark into battle, and even more surprised they left him in a suit. You can't find him a little jumpsuit to zip up over that thing? Give me a break.
Not loafers. Yeah, something.
Yeah, combat loafers. I did like the Captain Britain shield, though. It's got the Union Jack on it instead of course, stars and stripes. And I guess once you pick that thing up, you're an expert at it, too.
Comes with the jeans, and she always was kicking ass and taking names before, so.
Absolutely.
Anybody else got any cool differences they picked up on?
I thought it was cool at one point. She picked up the sword and the shield, so it was sort of like a Wonder Woman reference.
Yeah,
saying,
I got that
hey,
one.
look, you can do it correctly.
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
I mean, there was the way that they went after Red Skull, because that was different. He wasn't pulling some weird tentacled monster through previously, unless I do not remember the first Avenger.
No.
Nope. Pretty spooky dude.
Yep.
He's pulling like Cthulhu through, and it's like, what is happening here?
Ew. I'll pass.
So what stayed? What do you think stayed the same mostly, Sean? What do you got?
I would say the concept, of course, was the big thing. Your main players with having Stark be the one who's doing it. Stanley Tucci's doctor, whose name escapes me. So obviously, like the beginning, sans Steve being in the tube.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was going to say battling bombshells. That is completely different. That's based on art that does Taylor, the person who does our logos. But with Dum Dum Dugan and that whole crew, with that all being the same, I loved that. And finding all of those, with the exception of Dum Dum's, attitude, like, oh, they're sending dames in now? It's like, oh, really, dude?
Yeah.
It's like, never mind. I'm cool with it. Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Abraham Erskine. That was Stanley Tucci. Yes.
I do love Stanley Tucci, though. But, I mean, so, like, it was more broad strokes that stayed the same than any little details. I like the fact that they kind of put the budding romance happening, even though Steve was still this tiny little dude. And that his heart was basically still the same.
And they managed to launch her into the future.
Right. That dance just never going to happen.
Cursed.
It's like so depressing. Because, I'm not all this, I want them together forever. But I wanted Peggy and Steve together.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing I wanted. So that kind of sucks that didn't happen. I don't know. Does anybody else have something that stayed the same that I'm not picturing?
Well, for the most part, the train scene stayed the same, at least thinking that they were going to get Red Skull on the train. Now, I love it ends up being Steve and Hydro Smasher that goes down with the train instead of Bucky Barnes, but as Peggy saves him, but I love the comment, oh, you almost pulled my arm off.
I thought Steve was going to end up being the Winter Soldier all of a sudden when that happened, though.
Wow, that'd be different.
That would be freaky.
Yeah. I ticked off that Peg still loves Steve for some. Well, Peg still loves Steve.
They still got together.
What. Yeah.
Well, they tried to get together.
Well,
no.
The attempt was made.
Right.
Anything else staying the same that like hits anybody that?
Well, I thought she looked similar to Steve as Captain America, and I agree with Dave that it's good that she didn't look like Power Girl.
Yeah.
And, that wouldn't have been the best look, in my opinion. So, but she still looked bulked up enough to do the job, and then she still kicked ass and take names and stuff, but she still was Peggy through and through, but could now do something with all the kick-assness that she had. Sort of had like approval to do so. And Steve was Steve and helped out and did his own saving the universe thing in his own way. And then they still got together. So I liked all those similar characteristics.
So we shouldn't talk about her sex lives because I just had a vision of it.
No.
Not sure if he should leave the suit on or take it off. It might be a performance issues.
I'm sure that's a personal matter.
Oh, so, leave the suit on. Oh, baby.
My God.
So what did everybody think about the Hydra monster?
At first I thought it was Starro, but Starro's a DC character, with all the tentacles and stuff. I'm like, what the heck is this? Now, where have we seen that before, aside from Starro? Starro's a starfish from outer space.
Well, this is a actual character from the Marvel comics. Shuma the Roth. Yep. Yep.
I had no idea we had.
I swear we saw it in one of the Marvel shows, too. Just something trying to reach from another dimension. What was that, Steve?
Oh, no.
Marvel's Cthulhu, like Sean mentioned.
Yeah, you're right. I do think we've seen it before.
I wish I could.
But it must have been, could it have been, shoot, it could have been a lot of things. It could have been an game. It could have been. I
just have this vision of something dark, like with things reaching out of it before they manage to close it up.
Right. Attack on New York.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Dude, even Ultron might have had something like that coming through.
Well, I'll get it as soon as we sign off.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
That's what it was.
Do over.
So good.
Yeah, and I kind of liked how they switched up the bomb names that Hydra had on all the bombs, that they were going to destroy the major cities, and we see Hello from Brooklyn on Hydra Stomper.
Yeah.
That was cool. Let's see, is there anything else we want to touch base on?
I want to talk about the little, I don't even want to say previews because it wasn't previews, but the little snippets that we see at the very beginning about what's to come and then what they've been showing since.
Okay.
Because we're getting Marvel Zombies. I am like so super excited about Marvel Zombies, and trying to explain to my husband, it's like, oh my God, no, it was like an alternate dimension and Reed Richards and this, and he's like, okay, you need to calm down with the zombie thing. I'm like, but we're getting Marvel Zombies. I'm like, it's possible that we're going to get X-Men Zombies because that was a big thing and maybe this is how they're going to pull it in. And he's like, all right, calm down and breathe. Because what better way to pull in the whole Fox side of the franchise that's been stolen from us for so long than through What If?
Oh, absolutely. Would be the easy way to do it.
Yes.
Instead of trying to pull them in through the movies.
Yeah, because I just want to see, even if it's in the corner, just a pop up and then go away. I don't know why, but I want to see Deadpool. Like, hey, and then like he pulls away.
Well, there was a brief, okay, this is a stretch, Walking Dead crossover from that episode. The guy who was Johann Schmidt, Red Skull, that's Ross Marquand.
Ross Marquand.
Yeah, Aaron from The Walking Dead. Crossover.
That would be something else, so that's for sure.
Yep.
And then we see Gamora in Thanos' outfit, basically, and his giant weapon. I don't know what the heck that was called. It's not just a sword. And we get to see just all this awesome stuff happening. So What If is going to be amazing with all the different stories. But I had also read that they had really, 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 really tried to do a What If crossover with Luke Skywalker.
Ooh.
And
that would have crossed the stream.
I don't remember if it was the director or the writer. It had to be the writer. Was told, listen, play in your own sandbox. Yes, they're part of our world, but play in your own sandbox. You got the entire Marvel universe.
Stop being greedy.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm thinking, how would that have played out? Like a bunch of our heroes were Jedi and Sith. But like now, of course, my head is like spinning about like what could have happened with that? But we have so much what ifs coming. It's just exciting. And like I said, fingers crossed, we're going to get our X-Men come over because I really want AVX. So that's my thoughts.
Well, the sky is the limit, except for Jedis. So should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I definitely could see Red Skull as Darth Vader and Steve Rogers as Luke Skywalker. That would be something else.
Wolverine could be Han. I'm sure there are stories on the internet that detail that.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
In various different ways.
Well, we have anything else we want to touch base with on this episode?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts on each and every episode of this season. Our deadline for feedback is 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday during the season. And you can send your feedback, be it email or audio, to contact us at fangirlzone.com.
Please review and rate us on iTunes and any other platform you use for our podcast. With good ratings and reviews, it helps other fans of the show find us, as there are plenty of other Marvel podcasts out there. Tell your friends, and I hope you're enjoying our podcast. And don't forget to check out the other great Fangirl Zone podcasts.
There's so many of them.
Mm.
For instance, Mudhorn Clan Cast. You can
One of my
check it out.
favorites.
But you can see everything over at www.fangirlzone.com. Click our contact tab because it's so much easier to get a hold of us that way. And it's easier than me trying to remember everything because there's a lot of ways to contact us. We're everywhere you want to find us, basically. So for this episode of the Marvelous Post-Blip podcast,
I'm Steve, so a dame in a flying Buick.
I'm Sean Fangirl S.
I'm Jazz.
And I'm Mischievous Dave. What? No Spear of Destiny? How am I supposed to do a podcast without some solid spear talk?
There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.